Hey, what's up everybody? It is your boy Brandon, and I want to welcome you all to the first episode of The Critique. That is right, this is a new series that I am implementing here on my show. And basically the critique is something, it is just a way for me to interact with you guys more and pretty much give back to the community, especially amateur photographers and people who are coming up who are out there struggling, taking pictures, really want to interact with professionals, trying to get your opinions on what they can do better. And just a really quick bit tip, when I first started photography, I know how hard it was trying to get responses, trying to reach out to people. And I was just thinking to myself, if I could just send somebody my pictures so people can tell me about lighting, so people can tell me, what I can do better. I think I could do this. I could do so much more. But it just seems like everybody's just so busy. Nobody wants to answer your questions. Nobody wants to help you out. And I know how it is. So I am gonna be as dedicated to this as I can, because I am really, really big about helping people out and giving back. And what way to do it than to do it right here on YouTube with the critique, with everybody watching, and to get feedback not only from me, but the community also. But the biggest thing about this is just an opportunity for me to put out a subject, and I want you guys to look at your pictures, tell me what you think, submit your photos, and I'm gonna critique them live here on YouTube. I'm gonna put kind of like a little twist to them. Maybe it's something that you could have done better. Maybe it's just like absolutely amazing. Maybe it's something that I see that you don't see, and that's a really big thing in photography. Sometimes you get one-track minded, and you really don't see something else that somebody can see. So having that extra set of eyes sometime, where somebody's gonna take the time out and look through your stuff, will really, 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 really help you. So I took 10 photographers, and we're gonna review pictures from 10 different photographers, both starting off, amateur, professionals, different ones, and the humbleness of these people was just absolutely amazing. Some of these guys have been shooting this just as long as I have. So like I said, it's really good to get that second set of eyes. So 10 amazing photographers, guys. We're gonna review them right here, and I'm gonna give them some tips and everything. So this week on the critique, I asked people to submit photos about posing and facial expressions. So if you don't know, there are two really, really big ingredients into making an amazing shot that a lot of people do not tell you, or we don't visit enough. That is posing, and it's actually facial expressions, okay? And we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna show you how important it is for your model to give you a really, really good facial expression. Facial expressions actually make the picture. The way the lips are parted, the way they're looking, how big their eyes are, the smoky look, the gore, the everything. A really, really good facial expression can make a bad picture look absolutely amazing. Posing can make a bad picture look absolutely amazing. And a lot of times you have to think outside the box in order to get those different types of poses. If you're getting that same different type of look from your model, you gotta change it up. You gotta catch it. Don't just be okay with what they're giving you. Don't let them do it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I might as well just take the picture. All right, if you're getting, and here's the thing, we gotta get out of these just ordinary, just type of poses that people are just so used to. Like, here we go. Here's some poses that we still get today. Y'all ready? You know what I'm saying? We gotta get out of this stuff, guys. We gotta start thinking outside the box. We gotta get more creative with our photography, all right? So let's visit these 10 amazing photographers. Let's see what they got. And at the same time, we're gonna go through each picture. I'm gonna give my advice, I'm gonna give my critique, and I'm gonna try to give as many tips as I can, and we're just gonna have fun with this. Thank you for coming to the first episode of The Critique. Let's get into it, guys. Here we go. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna jump right over here into Photoshop. All right, so first up we have Berkshire Photography. Now Berkshire Photography submitted this picture. And let's take a look at this picture. So I really like this picture. I like the fall look. I love the pose. I think it's great. I think she's doing an amazing job. And like I said, we talked about posing and we talked about facial expressions. So if we look a little bit closer, we're gonna go in here and then just zoom in. So, and this is what I tell you about posing and facial expression is really, really important. I think this picture she could have did a little bit better job with her facial expression, trying to really bring out that elegance of her. She has a really nice figure. She has a really strong figure. I think the pose is really nice and elegant and soft, but she could have did something really better with the facial expression. I think that really, really would have set that picture off. The outfit looks great with the fall look. I think it's absolutely amazing. Now, I will tell you, I went into this picture and I was like, well, you know, there's some things that you could do to make it just a little bit more fall-y also. So one of the things you can do, you can add a solid color to it and really bring out that fall look. So here's pretty much what I added to the picture. And then this is without it, what he submitted. So a lot of times, you know, adding this solid colors will really, really help bring out your pictures a lot too. But it's a really, really great picture. I'm really not too concerned in this picture with the right side framing. The framing looks great. A lot of times I'm really big on really centering the model and making sure that she's centered, making sure it goes with the ambient and the environment. But the left side framing a little bit on the sidewalk, on the side of the sidewalk, it actually kind of works for this picture. So it's a really good shot. But other than that, I would definitely say, you know, work on those facial expressions. If you see your model doing something, and here's the thing, if you see your model doing something like that, you know, don't just, like I said before, don't just be okay with, you know, taking a picture. Try to change it up. Tell her, I need you to give me a nice strong strong look, or I want you to bring it down a little bit. I want you to be soft. I want you to, you know, act like you're feeling the wind, you know, between your hair or something. Give me a really nice soft look and try to bring that facial expression out of them. Facial expressions is a really, really big problem with a lot of models today. So if you see it, try your best to stop it out, all right? I want to take a look at another picture that he submitted going forward. Now, check out this picture. So this is a really, really nice, elegant picture. She is a beautiful model. I love the way she looks. I even like the pose. I love the hand on the head. I like the framing. I like the 3/4 shot that he did also. It looks absolutely amazing. She's not too centered in the picture. She's a little bit right frame, but that's okay. We can work with that. Now, one thing that I really want to definitely point out in this picture is the sun. As you can see, she has a really nice, there's a really nice rim light behind her, but unfortunately it wasn't captured in this picture. And I know he was like, look, and I know you wanted to get the picture, but those are the little small things that you need to catch. I would have kind of really changed up the pose a little bit and actually position her to a point where I could get that sun and get that really, really nice rim light, and actually was able to work it. But you can only really kind of see she's outlined with the rim light. And he didn't really capture the sun that much in this picture. So like I said, next time when you're looking at it, you know, definitely do your best to capture that rim light and try to position your model so that you can get more of that sun in your picture. Don't be afraid to shoot in the sun. I love shooting in the sun. And that's how you really, really get those nice sunset looks. One more thing that I want to point out in this picture is the headspace. Headspace is a really, really big thing. As you can see, if we zoom in here, the amount of space that is between her and between the top of the image, that's a lot of space, all right? So again, watch your framing, watch the way you're doing it. I would have cut it down just a little bit so you wouldn't have so much white space up there. Really, really important. But other than that, I really, really like this picture. One of the things that when I looked at this picture, I looked at the amount of greens that was in the picture. So one of the things that you can do, like I said, going back to using solid colors, if you add, I thought a red, you know, kind of a reddish with the green, oranges type would really look good on top of this. So I kind of added a red to this, and you see what it did with the greens, and it gave it a more harvesting look. Working with solid colors, those are some of the things that you can do. The pose, I love the pose, the facial expression. She's really giving you that, I'm the baddest, and it's really nice. It's soft. Her eyes are wide open, and I absolutely love that. So really, really good with the picture, really, really good with the shot. I would just say watch the headspace. And if you're shooting during the sunset, if you're shooting during golden hour, the main reason to shoot during golden hour is to capture that golden hour sun, all right? So try your best to capture that golden hour sun more, but overall, man, I really thank you for your submissions. Great, great, great shots. Also, watch that logo. If you're gonna put that logo on there at the bottom, try your best to get that logo away and get it into a position where your eyes don't directly go to that logo, and it's not distracting from the model, especially when you have a really nice model looking like this, all right? This next submission was by a photographer. His name is Brian Knight. And like I said, we're also looking at studio shots too. So here's a really, really good shot. I really like this shot. I'm not gonna, put too much into this. I think I love the pose. Again, that's something stepping out of your comfort zone. It's not the normal, looks that you get. One thing I definitely want to point out to you guys with this picture is allowing your model to put their hands on their face, all right? It's okay for your model to touch their face and everything, but you have to make sure you're doing it nice and soft because you don't want to cover up the cheekbones. You don't want to cover up the structure of her face because that's one big thing with a model. We want to see it, but it's okay to take away from it a little bit or uneven hands or something like that. But in this picture, when we go to it, you see how her hand is completely laid up against her face, and that's not something that you want. We want to be able to see those lines. We want to be able to see that bone structure, and we don't get that with this picture. It's just like, oh my God, I'm tired. When are you gonna stop shooting me? Type of look. So, and we don't want that. Again, facial expressions, and something like this, she kind of looks like, more of like a fun type look. So I would have had her doing a nice smile, doing something where she's playing with her hair, throwing her hair, something really nice and, fun for this shot. Fun also goes with her shoes. It also goes with her clothing. So that's really, really important that everything clicks together. All right. So one thing to take away from this picture, guys, remember, try not to cover up that bone structure. If you see them constantly doing like this or, doing that, hey, pull your hands away from it or change up the pose. That's where posing really comes into play. So, Brian, thank you for the picture, man. I hope that helped you out a lot right there. I really didn't do too much editing or nothing with that picture because it's a studio shot. But again, really, really good shot, man. I appreciate it. So this next one is by Concepts Exposed. I think it's on IG. They submitted a picture here. This is the picture that's submitted by Concepts Exposed. Now, I love this picture. She is a beautiful model, absolutely amazing model. I love the pose. I love this picture. The editing was really, really nice on it. I checked out the editing, not overdone. The boots, the outfit, the thing that she's sitting on with the water in the background, it was absolutely captured perfectly. The only thing with this picture I would say is the framing. So you see how her butt back here is right on the edge of the picture. So you got to remember, if you move too far left, you're going to cut off her feet. If you move too far the other way, then you're going to cut off her back. So where do you move? You move back. Try to move back, and then you can move over a little bit so you can get a little bit more in the frame, and you can actually get her a little bit more centered, so she's not right there on the edge of the picture. Again, so when you're really doing your composition and checking out these shots, try to make sure your composure is on point. That way, your picture will come out perfectly, and you will have them nice and centered just in case you want to move, just in case you want to add or stretch or do anything, and you will have that little room to play with. The hand on the ear, that is an absolutely great pose, man. I really, really like that. Stepping out of the box is out of the ordinary, things like that. So the tones, I really like the tone. I think the tone could have been a little bit more done. But other than that, I absolutely really like this picture. I try to put a tone with it. I used a solid color. You guys can look at what I did with it. So I put a solid color on it. I made it a little bit more blue. And I think that really went great. I kept her skin, I kept her complexion and everything, but I added just a little bit of tone to it, a little bit more mood to it. And I think it looked great. So concepts, if you like that, you know, that's just a little tip for you, but keep it centered. Keep it nice and exposed. You know, watch that framing when you're taking those pictures. I know these models are absolutely gorgeous, but take your time, man. Calm down. They're not going nowhere. Get your exposure right. Get your framing right. Look at the mood of the picture, you know, and try to add a little bit more to it. But other than that, man, she's an absolutely fantastic model. Great with the pose, man. Absolutely great with the pose and allowing her. I don't know if that was you or her, but whoever it was, teamwork makes the dream work. So next, we're going to another photographer. His name is Corey McGee. Corey McGee submitted some pictures. I stole 2 of his pictures that we're going to talk about real quick. So here's one of Corey's first pictures. You guys can check this picture out. I love the mood. I like these little rocks that she's sitting on. I think this was kind of like probably like a 6, 7 o'clock night shoot. It looks like probably like on the beach somewhere. You can definitely tell where the light is. You can definitely tell how the light falls off of her face in the direction that it's going. So, you know, in this picture, it's coming from her left, you know, over to the right, you know, with that little shade of the darkness on the right side of her face, which is not a big, which is not a big deal. Just because, and you guys got to remember this, you don't always have to use a 2 light, 3 light setup to make sure that all of your shadows are fixed, you know, or what have you. Sometimes a nice little shadow on one side may look amazing. And again, these are all up to interpretation, because at the end of the day, it is the photographer's look that that he wants. That's the most important thing. But I would definitely say, you know, watch that exposure. That exposure just looks just a little bit overexposed on that left side of her face right there. So, you know, in post, you know, you can easily bring those highlights down a little bit, make that tone just an even look. Going to the posing, I think the posing could have just been a little bit more tweaked with everything. I think you could have kind of like had her leaning, kind of had her looking up to the light, you know, and like I said, I don't know if any of that was done on any of the other pictures, but, you know, get into that posing, get into those facial expressions. Right now, it just looks like she's just going with the flow. It looks like she's just letting the wind, you know, blow through her hair and everything, and you guys are just taking the pictures. But again, don't just allow them to do something. Try to step in there. Try to get creative with these shots. You know, use your environment. Those rocks are right there. Use those rocks. You know, do something with those rocks. Have her lean. Have one hand doing something. Have another hand doing something, and really create some type of magic with those pictures. It don't matter what's around you. All right, try to use your environment the most you can. But other than that, I like the mood to the picture. I like the lighting. I think you did a really good job in this picture, man. Let's move forward. So Corey submitted another picture. This was taken, as you can see, the first thing, you know, they got the bridge in the back. I like the little pose with the pose with this picture, and I like the framing. I like the right side framing in this picture a lot. She doesn't really have to be centered. I like the look. I love actually the jacket and the shirt that goes with this. It looks like this is her look. It looks like this look was made for her. So I really, really, really like this picture. If you're gonna do a picture when your model or something is grabbing something, especially like a vest or a jacket or something, uneven hands is really, really a really good idea to do uneven hands. So when you have one hand lower and one up top, you know, you can easily have them lean, you can easily have them look down, you can even have them look forward or really, really fierce, all right? But just having them right here in the middle kind of really does nothing, all right? If you look at her facial expression also, you know, like I said, this week is about posing and facial expressions. I'm not getting a lot from her facial expression, all right? Again, don't allow your model just to give you anything. Give me something, part some lips. I want you to feel like, you know, somebody's looking after you, somebody's looking for you. You know, I want you to look like you're looking for somebody. Look over your shoulder, do something. You know, give me something. Don't just allow your model just to do anything, all right? So work on these facial expressions, man. This is the biggest thing that I see with a lot of pictures that I see today. A lot of people just letting these models do anything. Facial expressions, facial expressions, facial expressions. All right, guys, this week is all about facial expressions, okay? Need some facial expressions. So now, another big thing with this picture, and I know a lot of people was out there saying, look, 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 look. Yeah, so composition, like I said, is really, really important. You see the big bridge in the back that's cutting through the back of her head. One of the things about pictures like this is that is kind of a very, very distracting thing. Soon as you look at the picture, your eyes immediately go to the bridge that's cutting through the back of her head, all right? So again, that's with composition, that's with taking your time, that's with composing your shot, making sure that you have everything lined up, all right? So with that being said, one of the things that you can do is basically turn or reposition yourself so that you're kind of shooting down the line of the bridge. So it's not necessarily in the back of her, but on the side of her. That way it's not cutting through the back of her head. And that will really, really help out a lot too. But any type of way where the bridge or something like that is either not sticking up the back of her head or cutting across the back of her head, that's when you really have to take time and compose those shots, okay? So other than that, I really like that. I mean, there's some moody things that you could have did with this picture also, but like I said, the facial expression, give me something with that facial expression, and give me something with that background. Facial expressions also has a lot to do with the way your models are dressed and the way that they look, because their look influences their facial expression, all right? You guys got to remember that. Looks influence facial expressions, all right? Let's move right along, all right? Is it Diane or Daine? Or Daine? Daine Joseph submitted 2 pictures. Here we go. So we got a model here that's on a beach or so. I like the colors. I like the colors, Joseph. I really appreciate it. This beautiful model. One of the biggest things that I would definitely say about this, first thing that, you know, your eyes kind of is the head space. You know, I think the framing could have been done. It's a little bit better, but you know, look at this. Look at the amount of space between the top of the picture and then when it gets to the bottom of the picture. That is a lot of head space. All right. Sometimes a little head space is okay, but not that much. All right. It kind of shrinks the picture, kind of shrinks your model. All right. But again, this week is about posing and facial expression. So posing, there's some things that you could do. I see rocks, I see sand. There's a lot of different things. I don't know if you guys got some more looks or if you did some more poses, but sitting in a chair, you know, kind of like this, you know, there's not really a lot going on with this picture. It's not really a lot going on with this pose. And then, you know, kind of just leaning back and having your head back, you know, you're kind of like letting her do her own thing. Those are the kind of things that you really need to catch before it turns into something else. Don't just allow her to do those type of things, because it's not really going to make for a good shot. So posing and facial expressions, all right? Headspace, posing and facial expressions with this picture, man. And I think you really could have got, I think you could really get something with these type of shots. But she is a really, she's a great model and everything. But like I said, posing and facial expression is my biggest thing with this picture, all right? All right, so we got another picture here from Joseph. All right, so let's check out this one. So right off the bat, amazing concept. I absolutely love this concept. I like the big, I mean, this looks like a big old like redwood tree or something that she's sitting at the bottom of. I mean, look at the size of those roots. God, dog. And I'm not talking about her hair, all right, or anything else. Anyway, but look at this picture. Now, the editing, I was absolutely amazing. I like the editing. I like the texture that I still see in her, not overdone and everything. I like the picture overall, honestly. I love the pose. But again, we talk about that head tilt, right? All right. There's not that it kind of works in this picture, but if you can give me a little bit more, like I see this picture, I see what she has on, and it has me wanting more. I want to see something more. I want some more out of this pose. You know, I want to see more. When you have models that are dressed, you know, like this, or really dressed, you know, elegant or, you know, sexy, or however you want to do it, you want to I need something more. Give me something, you know, give me something passionate. Give me something sensual, you know, work it out of them, you know, or they're just gonna give you, you know, what you gotta be able to use your imagination, use your concepts, use your environment, and work that pose out of them. But other than that, absolutely phenomenal model, phenomenal picture. I love the concept, man. I need to find that tree, like really, like I can sit at the bottom of that tree and make shots all day. So Joseph, just a tip on this. So I added just like a little bit moodier look to it. But I kind of like the brown look more now that I'm looking at it. But if you wanted to go a little bit more moody, you can, like I said, I did a solid color where I added like a little bit of kind of like a navy blue in there, brighten it up a little bit to get that look. And it makes it just a little bit tad moodier, kind of takes out too much of the brown, because right now in a picture like this, where she has this type of skin complexion, is blending in with the tree, you know, and you don't want it to look, you don't want your model to clash with the environment. So that's the reason why I kind of like wanted to add something where I'm trying to separate her and her look from the environment, all right? So again, something else to look at. But overall, really good job. Really good picture, man. I absolutely love it, all right? But thank you for your submissions. I really appreciate it. All right, FrozenTime Photography submitted a picture here on this golden hour sunset look. So right off the bat, again, we're talking about headspace. We're gonna zoom out here. So we're talking about the amount of headspace. Again, cut down on that headspace. We're talking about posing, and we're talking about facial expressions. So with this, you know, I like the outfit that she has on. One of the first things that I see as a professional photographer, I see the environment, I see what she has on. I can also kind of tell what you're shooting at. It looks like a 3.5, or, you know, not necessarily 2.8, because there is a lot of things that is actually in focus in this picture. So, you know, shooting at something like that, and on top of that, you're shooting up at a slight angle, and there's also a nice golden hour sun in the background that she's kind of blocking because you kind of like didn't get it. But I can see her body outlined by the sunset in the background. So I really think that you could have piggybacked on that sunset a lot. Don't be afraid not to shoot in that sun. I would have kind of came around, adjusted that picture, maybe a side picture where her hair and everything is really being illuminated by that sunset shot. But change, like I said, we talked about that jacket on another previous shot. We could have did something where you crossed over the legs and really like did an uneven, you know, hands on the jacket, and have her looking off to the side, or had her really doing something different. You know, but like I said, those are kind of some of the things that you want to really take into consideration. And then we're talking about the you know, the facial expressions. We got to get better on these facial expressions, all right? So, you know, like I said, don't just allow the model just to do anything. There's something else that you could have had her do, or, you know, could have had her saying. Or a lot of times with facial expression, guys, it's a really good idea to give your model something to think about. That's what I do with a lot of my models. I ask them, you know, or I tell them, hey, imagine that you are talking to somebody, or imagine that you see somebody across the room. How would you look at them? Give me that smoldering eye. Or somebody startles you. Give me that really look like you're being startled. And a lot of times they can put themselves in character and give you that type of look that you need. And that look will come with that facial expression, all right? So let's make sure that, you know, we work on these facial expressions. And like I said, don't just allow your model to do it. Try to give them something. If you're not giving you the facial expression that you need, give them an idea of something to think about that can help you get that facial expression. All right. So we got another picture by FrozenTime. All right. So here's another picture by FrozenTime, shot in the street, shot at a golden hour on the opposite side. Really good picture. I really like the shot. I like the pose. I like the chains that she has on. Really nice shot. Actually, the depth of field on this picture is out there. I mean, this has to be shot at a 1.2 or a 1.4. I'm guessing it's going to be more towards a 1.4. But it's an absolutely great shot. But again, like I said, we're talking about facial expressions. I think the head space and the bottom space is even. So I think the head space on this picture works for it. What doesn't work for me is just the facial expressions. All right, and like I said, facial expressions is driven a lot of times by what they wear. Now, if she's gonna give you a pose like that where she has this choker on, you know, you can almost do something really, really sensual with this pose. But she has to give it to you. Give me something sexual. Give me a very sexy look. Give me something like you're gonna use this chain for something that we're not gonna talk about here on YouTube. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. But you guys get the idea, all right? But reiterate that to them and let them act it out to you. And I promise you that you will get that picture, all right? Because every woman knows how to do it, all right? And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about now, then y'all need to go to another, you know, not rated R channel or something like that. Moving right along. So Giuseppe Lecce, I really can't pronounce his first name, but submitted this picture. And I got to tell you guys, this modern day picture that he submitted, I really in awe of this picture. I can't remember if this was shot like in a subway station or like a train station or like a book area or whatever the case may be. I forgot, he did tell me, but this picture is so nice. I love the framing on this, and I like how he moved the model out the way and didn't center her, because if the model was centered, she would have covered up the lights that's on the top that's actually, you know, in the frame. And it was really I like how he took his time with the composition in this picture to move her to the left frame and give me this pose. The pose is nice. I love the palish, you know, modern day look that she's really giving. I can't really say too much about this picture, but I really do like it. There's one thing though that really stuck out to me in this picture. There's not really anything wrong. Again, this is all photographers and whatever what you look. If you look at the reds in her dress, look at the red on her gloves, the lipstick. But when you get up to the hat is really, it's a lot more brighter and a lot more vibrant than the rest of her outfit. So that's kind of what I kind of caught, or it's kind of like what I stepped up on. Now, he might have done that on purpose, I don't know, or might have kind of like overlooked it. Probably what I would do is kind of either use a quick selection tool or something and you know, kind of highlight it and kind of bring those reds down so it matches the reds in the picture, so it's just not as, you know, kind of distracting, or it's not as red and vibrant as the rest of the picture. For some people, that red might be great for them in that picture. They might like it just like that, nice and vibrant. I want it to be poppy. I want it to be like, you know, the chick with the red hat, you know, or something like that. Some people might want it to be dumbed down and be with the rest of the picture. Either way, I think is actually absolutely a great photo. All the way to the pearls that she has on. Everything in this picture really lines up with each other, and I absolutely love the composition overall, point blank, with this picture. I thank you so much for allow me to critique this picture on here. Really nice, man. I absolutely love it. Okay, but thank you, I really appreciate it. All right, moving right along. So next up we got Joe Baker Photography. Joe is a really good friend of mine on Instagram, guys. I follow his work. He does some absolutely amazing work, some absolutely stunning models. Joe submitted a few pictures here for us to critique, and we're gonna get right into it. Joe, absolutely great picture, man. I love the pose. Again, we're talking about posing, we're talking about composition, we're talking about facial expressions. Posing, I absolutely love it. A lot of times when you take these headshots and things like this, you don't need a lot. You just need something nice and soft and elegant, something easy. And I like how easy this look is. I like how easy the pose is. She's not overdoing it. The facial expression, she's not overdoing it. And I really like it. Everything works out. The golden in her hair, the edit that he did, the nice soft skin, everything looks really well in this picture. I really couldn't really find too much wrong with it. The only thing that I was really able to point out in this picture was kind of the mouth. Kind of like when Joe did the edit, I kind of noticed that the left side of her mouth really like has that long line out there, and it's a little bit distracting when you look at it, especially when you zoom out and then you can really honestly see it. So if anything, I would have probably got rid of that little line right there. But other than that, there's not really too much there. I mean, she's a beautiful model, beautiful pose. I absolutely love it. There's nothing really too much I could find wrong with. There's nothing really too much I could ever find wrong with Joe's pictures, man. But Joe, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for being humble. Thank you for helping out. Thank you for supporting. There's not really a lot of photographers, especially professional photographers out there, who don't really care too much, but more about themselves. So Joe has always been a great supporter, man, and I really appreciate him. So I really appreciate the submissions. All right. So we got another picture from Joe. I'm gonna go right over here to it. All right, so here's another picture from Joe. Absolutely crazy, man. Look at this. There's a stunning model. I don't know where he got this backdrop from, man, but this is just amazing. And I can see like the kind of like the lead on the background. I can see the lead from the lights. But again, not really too much that I can look at it. I can only kind of like put my own twist on this picture. I like the pose. The only thing, I know she kind of like twisted her foot. As you can see in the photo, I know she kind of like twisted her foot more towards the camera. I don't know why she did that. I kind of really would have had her foot pointed out because it's, you know, it's kind of awkward when you actually look at it. So, I mean, she was probably just posing and, you know, it probably just came to her. So she really didn't probably pick up on it at the time that she was doing it, which is fine. Me personally, I probably would have kind of brought her chin down a little bit more to give me a really more fierce look. I really don't do too much of posing with my models where they just have their heads up in the air, you know, and they're like kind of like looking down on you, you know, like, okay, up, eyes down. Yeah, I don't really do too much of that because I kind of feel like it's a little bit awkward. Some people can pull it off, like in this picture, I think she pulled it off very well. But, you know, that long blonde hair and, you know, she has that bodysuit. I really would have brought something down a little bit more where I would have had her nice and fierce. You know, the rest of the picture, I like the rest of the picture. I probably would have cropped it a little bit so it wouldn't have been this, you know, kind of like this, like, kind of like dead space look over here between the whiteboard and this gray area over here. And again, like I said, this is composition stuff. To Joe, I mean, he probably don't really have a problem with it. They probably did a lot of shooting in this area, but those are really just my 2 cents on the picture. But I mean, Joe, hey, you're stellar, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, so next up, we got Mr. John Pixel here, who submitted this picture. John, thank you for your submission, man. I really appreciate it. I love this urban fashion look. As you guys know, I'm really big on urban photography. Urban photography is one of my really, really strong values, and I love urban photography. I love the urban look because it gives the models a chance to just let their hair down. I don't have to put on no dress. I don't have to put, you know, a bunch of makeup on. I can really just mess up my hair and, you know, just go crazy. Put me in the alley or put me in the subway with an outfit on and some pumps, and I'm ready to go. You know, and that's kind of like what this picture is, you know, and I absolutely love this picture. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, we're talking about posing and we're talking about facial expressions. It's not really too much you have to do with the pose in this picture because I like the whole sitting on the curb look in this. I probably would have did some things with the leg extensions. Maybe trying to get a different type of look. Maybe extending one leg and having one leg back. And then doing something with the hands, maybe on the curb or something like that. Maybe on her leg. Giving me a little bit more fierceness, and then kind of doing something with her hair. The facial expression, not a lot really going on with the facial expression either. So again, I know, you know, these models, they get there. I know you guys be overwhelmed with the look and everything, but again, you cannot just allow a model to just do really anything. You know, you want to, every shot you should be trying to create something just elegant and beautiful. All right. So again, work that facial expression. Look at the ambient. Look where you're around. Look what she has on. And then tailor your shots and tailor your expressions and your posing to how they're dressed, to how they look. Let everything flow together. Something like this, give me something wild, something crazy. Give me something that resembles, you know, where we're at and where we are. And that's how you get your poses. That's how you get your facial expressions, all right? All right, we got another picture. We got another photo from John, and here it is. All right, so here we go with another photo from John Pixel. Beautiful model, John. I love the model. I like the look. So right off the top, one of the biggest things that sticks out to me is a few things. First thing is the whole big pipe going through the back of her head, all right? So again, if that's a problem, you need to reposition and try to get a better composition a lot of times, or either angle down so it's not cutting through the back of her head or something. A lot of times to a lot of people that's distracting, and that's kind of where the first place that your eyes go. But you know, that again, that's just something to look at. It's just a critique. The next thing is the pose. The pose, I mean, she kind of almost looks like she's taking a crack. You know, I don't know. But it almost works for her, but something like this and the way she's dressed, you know, bodysuit, heels, you know, in this area, I would have did something definitely a lot more, a little bit more elegant, a little bit more sexy to what she has on, and really brought out, you know, everything. She has some gorgeous, gorgeous eyes, man, gorgeous eyes. She has a great figure, but I definitely would have did something to where I could bring that out of her, you know. You know, I would definitely probably want to see some more in this series that you took with this model to see exactly how you capitalized on what she has on and, you know, her whole look. I would definitely want to see some more of those. But other than that, man, I really like the picture. I love the model. I love the look. But like I said, the composition has to come together, you know, the whole thing. Facial expressions, you know, there's not a lot going on with facial expressions here. She's kind of like just giving you, you know, whatever you want. Again, don't allow your models to just do anything. Facial expressions make the picture. I'm telling you, you can get something really nice. Maybe the hair flip probably on one side, kind of like turn her head to the light, you know, part the lips a little bit, give me a nice little smoldering look, something like that. And she could really work that type of pose, man. So, like I said, really good picture, man. I really like it. All right. So, coming down to our last photo on the critique this week, episode 1, comes from Moses Webb. Moses Webb submitted this picture, and I like the picture. I like the tones in this picture. A lot of times when you're doing toning and you're doing color grading, you don't want to color grade and tone so much where you almost completely lose the picture. You lose the sharpness, you lose everything in the picture. I like the way you actually compose this picture where the hands is right here, but you kind of cut off the, you know, the body a little bit. I don't have a problem with that. I like it a little bit more. You could have kind of got a little bit more body in the picture, just a little bit, you know, just to give a little bit more so we can see probably like a little bit more shoulder. But other than that, I like the picture. I really do. I would just say watch that moodiness when you're doing moody and you're doing color grading, not to color grade your model out the picture. So they're not just completely flush with it. That's the only biggest thing. Another thing probably with this picture, what I would have did was moved her back and really use those rails, because that's another thing I see. I see those leading lines. You could have really got a really nice leading line shot with those lines also. We got a little bit up here by the hands and everything, but I would have probably got just a little bit more just to lead into her. But again, really, really dope shop. I really appreciate it, man. All right, guys. So I want to thank everybody for checking out this week's first episode of The Critique. I had a great time with looking at all these submissions from all these amazing photographers. You guys, just like I said, we need to slow down as photographers, check out your composition, making sure that you're getting the shots that you just want, because there's nothing more difficult and there's nothing more dissatisfying than going home and looking at all the pictures and being like, oh, this is just a complete wash, all right? You gotta check that stuff at the door. Check your models at the door, you know, and make sure that you're getting the type of shots that you want. Check those poses and check those compositions. Check those facial expressions. If you guys, like I said before, if you don't know, you know now. You gotta watch those facial expressions. A lot of these models call themselves models or professional models, and they're not giving you. Facial expressions is a really, really big part of posing. Facial expressions is really important. Facial expressions really make a picture. Did you know that? Facial expressions in posing really make the picture. If you don't get a proper facial expression or a pose, it doesn't set your picture apart from the next person, all right? And that's one of the things I still to this day still practice posing and posing my models with really good facial expressions. But I'm at a point now where I can tell them or give them something that I want them to see or look like, or how I want the picture, and make them kind of give me that expression. And if they even get close to it, I say, yep, all right, that's it. Now a little bit more, that's it right there. You know, and that's kind of like how you really got to work. Come out of that comfort zone, guys, and don't be scared to take control of your photo shoot, all right? So thank you guys for checking out the first episode of The Critique. We're gonna have episode 2 coming soon, where we're gonna be getting another 10 photographers and doing some more critiquing. So in the comment section below, guys, I want you to go like this video. Share some more feedback with me about the critique, even some of the pictures. Put the names in the description. I'll actually put the names of all the photographers in the description below, so you'll know who had what. And then, like I said, guys, comment, give your opinions. You know, constructive criticism. All right, guys, we ain't bashing nobody's pictures or nothing like that. You know, and if they did an amazing job, you know, hey, give them a shout out. You know, hey, you did an amazing job, great job on your pictures, man. I learned a lot, you know, or whatever. That's what this is about. This is my way of giving back, so everybody can learn something from me, learn something from other photographers, and we can grow together. All right. Thank you for checking out the first episode. We'll see you on episode 2. Holla.